guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be reading 5 chapters or so of Cara the Class Clown, written by Lydia Digiulio, Brigette Digiulio. I hope you enjoy it. Chapter 1, Trouble at School. Cara lived with her parents, Mr. and Mrs. Cockroach, in a large modern apartment in a leafy suburb called Roachville. Cara was a very pretty little girl cockroach. She had curly eyelashes and antennae, and her wings shimmered with a lovely white pink. At school, however, Cara was labelled as being the class clown. She was always getting into some sort of mischief and simply could not stay out of trouble, not even for one day. In fact, Cara was very proud of her title until things started going terribly wrong. "Ouch!" screamed Cindy, glaring at her, but Cara only giggled. "Cindy, will you please be quiet? You are being very disruptive today," said Mrs. Candy, their classroom teacher, who was most annoyed with Cindy for interrupting her lesson. "I'm really sorry, Mrs. Candy, but Cara pulled my wings," she replied. "For goodness sake, Cara, will you stop this behaviour at once? I have had quite enough of it," said Mrs. Candy. But before she had a chance to resume with her lesson, Cindy interrupted the class yet again. "Hey, leave me alone, Cara!" yelled Cindy. "Girls, can you both stop fighting, please? What is going on here?" shouted Mrs. Candy as she walked over to them. "But Cara just pulled my antenna!" complained Cindy. Mrs. Candy knelt down in front of Cara and said to her face, "Stop it! Will you leave Cindy alone?" "Sure, whatever you say, Mrs. Candy," replied Cara with a smile. But while Mrs. Candy was walking away, Cara stuck out her legs and tripped her over. "Cara, how dare you trip me over?" yelled Mrs. Candy, furiously, looking most embarrassed as she quickly scrambled to her feet. Cara couldn't stop giggling as she watched Mrs. Candy desperately trying to straighten out her antenna, which had become all bent out of shape when she fell. I'm so sorry, Mrs. Candy," replied Cara in between tears of laughter. "But I was just stretching." "Well, maybe we should let the principal decide if you were only stretching," retorted the teacher. "Cara, I've had enough of this. You need to go to the principal's office right now," she scolded, glaring at her. And looking around the room, she asked, "Can I have a volunteer to accompany Cara to the office, please?" But as no one put their wing up, she decided to choose someone herself. Cindy put her head down, desperately hoping that she wouldn't be noticed. "Cindy," the teacher called out loudly. "Yes, Mrs. Candy," answered Cindy, looking up anxiously. "I would like you to take Cara to the principal's office, and please make sure that she doesn't have any stopovers along the way," said the teacher. "Yes, Mrs. Candy," replied Cindy apprehensively. As they were walking out of the classroom, Cara turned around to face Cindy and whispered, "I'm so glad that you were chosen." Chapter 2. Cindy becomes stuck. Cara grinned at Cindy as she casually walked out of the classroom and into the corridor. Cindy followed nervously behind her. All of a sudden, without warning, Cara pushed Cindy into an enormous spiderweb that was hanging from the ceiling. Fortunately, the spider was nowhere to be found. Cindy began to panic and shouted, "Help! Help! Will somebody please help me? I'm stuck in a spiderweb!" But Cara just stood there giggling. She was laughing so hard that tears were rolling down her cheeks. "Cara, help me get out of here, please!" cried Cindy, terrified the spider would return at any moment. "It's not funny. Please get me out of here," she begged. Cara hesitated for a moment and then decided not to help her. "Cara, help me! How would you like it if I pushed you into a spiderweb?" said Cindy. Cara thought about what Cindy had just said and finally decided to help her. But as Cara tugged and tugged at Cindy, she realised that she could not free her from the sticky spiderweb. Cindy was stuck. "Oh no, maybe I should have pushed Cindy into the spiderweb," thought Cara, beginning to panic. Just then the principal, Miss Carlin, came out of her office. "Good gracious me," she exclaimed. "How on earth did you get caught in that web, Cindy?" Cara pushed me into it. "Please help me, Miss Carlin," she sobbed. Miss Carlin glared at Cara and said, "Go and wait for me in my office. We'll deal with you later," and quickly turned her attention back to Cindy. She said, reassuring, "Don't worry, I have some scissors in my office. I'll free you in a moment." Without a second to spare, she returned holding a pair of scissors as seemingly out of nowhere, a huge fairy spider suddenly appeared just as the spider was making its way towards them, hoping to have Cindy for lunch. Miss Carlin cut her free. "Thank you so much for saving me from that horrible spider," Miss Carlin said. Cindy, relieved to be safe again. "Cindy, are you all right?" asked Miss Carlin. That was quite a terrifying ordeal. "You were very brave." "Yes, I'm all right now, thanks to you, Miss Carlin," replied Cindy. "Would you like to go to sick bay for a while? Or have you recovered enough to be able to go back to your own classroom?" asked Miss Carlin. "I think I'm okay, Miss Carlin. I'd much rather just go back to class now," replied Cindy as she scuttled away. In the meantime, Cara went to Miss Carlin's office and waited for her to arrive. But soon she became bored. Cara desperately tried to look for something to do to help pass the time. And picking up a group photo that Cara found on display of all the teachers at the school, she stared at the photo. Instantly, just then the principal, Miss Carlin, came out of her office. "Good gracious me," she exclaimed. "How on earth did you get caught in that web, Cindy?" Cara pushed me into it. "Please help me, Miss Carlin," she sobbed. Miss Carlin glared at Cara and said, "Go and wait for me in my office. We'll deal with you later," and quickly turned her attention back to Cindy. She said, reassuring, "Don't worry, I have some scissors in my office. I'll free you in a moment." Without a second to spare, she returned holding a pair of scissors as seemingly out of nowhere a huge fairy spider But soon she became bored. Cara desperately tried to look for something to do to help pass the time. And picking up a group photo that Cara found on display of all the teachers at the school, she stared at the photo intently. A broad grin suddenly spread across Cara's face as she opened one of the drawers belonging to Miss Carlin's desk and rummaged through it. Finally, she found what she had been looking for, a whiteboard marker. Cara began to draw facial hair on all of the teachers in the photo, and even drew fancy hats on some of them. Cara couldn't stop giggling at her artwork, but she got such a fright when she heard footsteps approaching. Cara quickly threw the photo into the top drawer of Miss Carlin's desk, and staring at the marker that she was still holding, Cara said to herself in a panic, "Oh no, it's a permanent marker!" Oops. Cara threw the permanent marker as quickly as she could into the same drawer and slammed it shut just in time. Chapter 3. Cara meets the principal. Miss Carlin returned to her office. She exploded in anger when she saw Cara spinning around in her office chair. "Whee! This is so much fun!" said Cara, giggling. Each time Cara spun around in the chair, she watched in wonder as the colour of the principal's face changed from pink to red and then purple. "Are you okay, Miss Carlin?" asked Cara. "You don't look so good." "Cara, get off of my chair and wipe that smirk off your face. You are in big trouble, young lady," yelled Miss Carlin. But then, after composing herself somewhat, Miss Carlin took a deep breath and said in a much calmer voice, "I have a question for you, Cara." "What is it, Miss Carlin?" she asked, smiling at the principal. And screaming at the top of her voice, she said, "What on earth?" did you push Cindy into that dangerous spiderweb? What were you thinking, Cara? Cara got such a fright that she jumped high up into the air and accidentally slipped off the chair, falling to the ground with a thud. Towering over her, Miss Carlin frowned and said, "Cara, get up! What are you doing?" Cara quickly jumped up and sat back into her chair. She felt her cheeks turn red from embarrassment. "I'm still waiting for a response to my question," the principal continued, looking very annoyed. "It was only meant to be a joke, Miss Carlin." Cindy looked so funny, caught in that spiderweb. You should have seen the look on her face when she realised that she was stuck, replied Cara. "A joke? How can you call that a joke?" Cindy could have been seriously hurt, or worse still, eaten by that horrible hungry spider. "I don't understand how you could do such a terrible thing, to another student," said Miss Carlin. "And what's your excuse for tripping over your classroom teacher, young lady? Was that only a joke too?" Cara grinned at her but said nothing. But Miss Carlin suddenly went silent and stared at her intently. Cara began to feel slightly uncomfortable and stared down at the ground, trying to avoid eye contact with the principal. After pondering for quite some time, Miss Carlin finally spoke and said, "Cara, we have a reputation to uphold here at this school. You obviously do not seem to understand that your practical jokes interfere with the learning of your fellow students and that you have been putting their safety at risk. Therefore, I'm afraid that you've left me with no choice but to expel you from this school." Your behaviour has been totally unacceptable. I'd like you to pack your bag and leave at once, okay? Chapter 4. Cara leaves school. But Miss Carlin, it was only a joke, protested Cara. "I didn't mean any harm, honest." "I didn't think that spider would return to its web so quickly." "Cara, I do not want to hear any more of your excuses. It's okay to joke around now and again and have a little bit of fun. But unfortunately, you never seem to know when to stop. I'm afraid that you just have to learn the hard way. Please pack your bag and leave the school grounds now," she ordered. Cara ran out of Miss Carlin's office crying and quickly packed her bag. She crawled out from beneath the beneath the canteen where her school was safely hidden from the outside world, and ran through the lush green perfectly manicured gardens of the school that she was no longer allowed to attend. Cara scuttled past a group of children who were walking to their next class. Fortunately, she remained unnoticed. As she headed for home, Cara wondered what her parents would think of her being expelled from school. She thought about what Miss Carlin had said to her earlier. Maybe she really had gone too far this time. Maybe she shouldn't have played so many practical jokes on the other little cockroaches in her class. On the other hand, Cara thought the others always laugh at my jokes and I never really mean to hurt anyone. Cara, you're home early, said her mother in surprise, interrupting from her thoughts, looking down at the ground. Cara replied, Yes, mother, before quickly running to her bedroom, which was located in the laundry underneath the washing machine. Following closely behind her and looking very puzzled, her mother asked, Is everything all right? Of course, mother, replied Cara, trying not to let her see that she had been crying. What happened at school today? Asked her mother intently. Nothing, answered Cara, too afraid to tell her mother the truth. Cara, something must have happened. Please tell me. I really need to know, she demanded. Oh, all right then. I was expelled from school today, she sobbed. I'm so sorry, mother. I didn't mean for that to happen. It was just a joke, honest. Miss Carlin had no sense of humour. All of a sudden, her mother's face turned as red as a beetroot, and screaming at the top of her voice, she said, What do you mean you were expelled from school today? I want you to tell me everything right now, and don't leave anything out. Do you understand? Yes, mother, replied Cara as she began to explain the sequence of events that had occurred earlier in the day. Cara told her mother how she had tripped over Mrs. Candy during class and all about the spiderweb joke that she had played on Cindy. Her mother was furious. Cara had never seen her so angry before. Cara, how many times have I told you not to play practical jokes on others? Shouted her mum. And do you ever listen to me? No, of course not. Cara noticed that her mother's face had become the same colour as Miss Carlin's earlier in the day when she was caught spinning around in her office chair. Just wait until your father hears about this, she yelled as she stormed out of the room, slamming the door behind her. Cara sighed. She was definitely not in the mood to listen to a big lecture from her father, and she couldn't understand why everyone seemed to get so angry with her all the time when she was just playing jokes on them. Suddenly, Cara thought of an idea. I know, I'll go and find Rex. Playing with him is so much fun and he always makes me giggle, Cara said to herself as she scuttled off to search for him. The end. Chapter 5. Cara plays with Rex. The apartment that Cara and her parents lived in was owned by the Bronsons. They had 2 small children, Sally and Jack, and a puppy named Rex. The puppy often played in the house with the children. At night, Rex slept in a basket in the laundry. On this particular evening, Cara found Rex easily. He had already fallen asleep in his basket and was snoring slightly. Cara casually crept up to him and crawled onto his back. The puppy awoke immediately, thinking that he had an irritating flea caught in his fur. He began to panic and started running around in circles, madly scratching at Cara with his hind legs. "Giddy up! Go, Rex! Whee! This is so much fun!" she said to herself, giggling. Cara hung on tightly, bouncing up and down on Rex's back as though she was horseback riding. Meanwhile, Rex was bounding all over the place, trying to get rid of the flea that was burrowing into his fur. Eventually, he managed to shake Cara off his back. She fell to the ground and quickly scuttled back to her bedroom, where she sat down to have a short rest. Before long, Cara was bored and she decided that it was time to play with Rex again. Cara cautiously crawled out from beneath the washing machine and found him curled up in his basket trying to sleep, challenging Rex. Cara scuttled right up to him. Challenging Rex, Cara scuttled right up to him, trying to entice him to play with her. Rex couldn't resist the temptation of trying to catch Cara, and he began to chase her around the apartment. Cara giggled as she watched Rex sliding across the slippery tiled floor, only to bump his head in the protruding oven, almost knocking himself out. As she swiftly disappeared beneath it, Cara was simply too fast for him. Barking wildly in excitement, Rex quickly attracted the attention of Mr. and Mrs. Bronson, who came running into the kitchen upon hearing out of the commotion. "Rex, be quiet!" scolded Mr. Bronson as he glared at the dog. "You'll wake up Jack and Sally. If you bark one more time, you'll be spending the night outside in the cold." Knowing that he was in trouble, Rex whimpered as he headed back to the laundry. Swiftly jumping into his basket, he covered his eyes with his paws and went to sleep. As soon as everyone had gone, Cara scuttled back into her bedroom. Mr. and Mrs. Cockroach were already there, waiting for her. Cara's father was frowning and did not look happy. "I'm very disappointed in you, Cara," he began. "Your school has the best scavenging teacher in the area, amongst other things, and I really wanted you to attend the same school that I went to as a little cockroach. But now I'm afraid that you've left us with no choice but to send you to the local school just around the corner. I don't actually know any of the teachers there, but I have heard that it's not a bad school. I trust that you will not be expelled from this one, and I certainly hope that you have learned your lesson, young lady," said Mr. Cockroach sternly. "Oh, yes, Dad, I have," replied Cara, feeling a little sad for disappointing her father. When her parents had left the room, Cara sat down on her bed and thought about what her father had just said. "I'll try to be a better student at my school," she thought to herself, cheering up a little.